Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the third installment of James Cameron's massive saga, a film that is set to flip everything we thought we knew about Pandora on its head. Avatar: Fire and Ash. Right, so after the crazy, super emotional, and, let's be honest, absolutely gorgeous events of the last movie, everyone's been asking the same thing. What on earth is next for Jake Sully, Neytiri, and their family as they deal with all these new threats on Pandora?
The story picks up pretty much exactly where we left off. The Sully family is trying to find some safety with the Mecha clan. But that sense of peace, well, it's not going to last. The death of their oldest son, Neteyam, has left some serious scars, and things are about to get really, really intense.
Neytiri's journey, in particular, goes to a really dark place. Her grief over losing Neteyam just curdles into this hard, bitter resentment. Actress Zoe Saldana has even said her character becomes a full-blown racist, totally unable to look at the human boy spider and not see the people who killed her son. You can just imagine the kind of tension this creates right in the middle of the Sully family.
But as if all that family drama wasn't enough, there's a whole new threat on the horizon. And this time, it's coming from the Na'vi themselves. Yeah, this film introduces a side of the Na'vi that we have never, ever seen before.
So director James Cameron himself said he wanted to really complicate things on Pandora. He wanted to get past that simple good Na'vi, bad humans dynamic we saw in the first films. And how does he do it? Well, by introducing a brand new and pretty formidable force.
Okay, so meet the Manquin, or as they're known, the Ash People. They're led by this tough-as-nails Tsayik named Varang. Now, this is a fiery, aggressive clan that has survived in this brutal volcanic homeland. They play by a whole different set of rules, and they're willing to do basically anything to protect their people, even things that others would call flat-out evil. The arrival of the Ash People just changes the whole game. Colonel Korch, ever the opportunist, he immediately teams up with them. At the same time, Kiri's connection to Eywa gets even deeper, giving her this incredible power to actually command the wildlife on Pandora. But maybe the biggest shocker of all comes from Spider. The kid not only adapts to breathe Pandora's air on his own, but he also grows his own neural queue. Think about that. It completely redefines what it means to be human on this planet.
So, how in the world do you bring a story this complex, with a whole new volcanic world, to life? Well, as you'd probably guess, with a James Cameron movie, it required a production on a truly epic scale. Just look at the budget. It reportedly shot past $400 million. To put that into perspective, that easily makes it one of the most expensive and ambitious movies ever made.
And filming, it was an absolute marathon. Principal photography was shot back-to-back with The Way of Water, and it took over 3 years to finish. It started way back in 2017 and didn't wrap until late 2020. Just wow. And the journey to actually get it into theaters was just long and winding. Get this, it was delayed a staggering 9 different times from when it was first supposed to come out. That pushed its final release a full decade later than originally planned. A decade!
So after a decade of waiting and spending almost $500 million, the question we all want to know is, how did the movie actually do with critics and audiences?
Well, the reviews were, for the most part, pretty favorable. It ended up with a 67% positive score on Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritic gave it a solid 61 out of 100, and that was based on reviews from 56 different critics.
And the reactions kind of split along lines that are probably familiar for this franchise. Basically, critics were, once again, just totally floored by the visuals. They called it the ultimate cinematic spectacle. But a lot of them also felt that the story, even though it was emotional, kind of hit some of the same beats as the earlier movies.
Commercially, though, the film got off to a really strong start. In its opening weekend, it pulled in a worldwide total of $72.2 million, which is a great kickoff for its journey at the box office.
And, you're not going to be surprised by this, the award season has already starting to notice its technical genius. The movie has already scooped up multiple awards for its visual effects, which just continues the franchise's legacy of pushing the absolute limits of what's possible in a movie.
Of course, with a franchise this huge, as soon as one movie comes out, it immediately makes you wonder what it all means for the future of this multi-billion-dollar saga. And let me tell you, the plan is definitely to keep going. There are 2 more sequels already on the calendar, with release dates set for 2029 and 2031. In fact, producer Jon Landau has even said that about a third of Avatar 4 has already been filmed. They are not waiting around. But, and this is a really big but, nothing is set in stone. James Cameron himself has been super clear that the entire future of the saga really depends on the financial success of these middle movies. The box office for Fire and Ash is absolutely critical for whether or not we'll ever get to see the end of this story.
So, it all kind of comes down to this. By giving us a darker, way more complex Pandora with aggressive Na'vi and all this new conflict inside the Sully family, the stakes are higher than they have ever been. But is this new direction enough? Is it enough to carry the story and keep us all hooked all the way through to 2031? I guess only time will tell.